Weirdly artistic.
Damn, that's weird. We're back with Nick, Jay, and Jose.
It's weirdly artistic. We're talking art.
We're talking weird and everything under the sun.
Weirdly artistic.
Damn, that's weird.
Weirdly artistic.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Weirdly Artistic, Episode 4. I'm Jose.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Jordan.
So today we wanted to talk about what we dubbed the big three.
Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity of series in movies, which is Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings.
Yes,
The classics.
The classics. I mean, we kind of talked about this. It's what our generation grew up with. You know, we're reaching our 30s this next year.
Yeah.
And it's what we grew up with, and I think that's...
I was like
Kind of formed us.
first grade, elementary school, finally like saw Star Wars. And when I saw it, I was hooked. I knew I just
Instantly.
instantly hooked. I was riding pod racers in my living room, or imagining I was Anakin, you know?
The little plastic toys. And they
Dude,
blew up.
I might still have it, but I had Phantom Menace on like VHS.
Dude,
And,
that's
I
probably
would
worth
watch
some
it
money
all
now.
the time.
I have my original, the DVD Trinity of that, the old school VHS of that.
I remember when they released the updated version. So like if you had the old version, it had the old graphics, like the old Darth Vader.
I
and
do
then
remember
The
that.
new version had like Anakin in as the ghost, like Hayden Christensen.
Yes.
You remember that
I do,
switch?
yeah.
I do
That was
remember
crazy.
that.
But that was also awesome because it was like, okay, here's to our generation.
And it's funny, I think Family Guy actually made a joke about that.
Yeah.
Or like it's the episode, I think, where they go to Ireland, and then Peter's dad like their ghost shows up, and then Yoda ghost shows up, and then like Hayden Christensen shows up. I was like, hey, I'm Hayden Christensen.
That's so funny.
so good.
That's hilarious.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's looking back, that was a funny one.
Yeah, I'm excited for more Star Wars content to come out, though. So,
And we were kind of talking about the people that are bringing new perspectives to Star Wars and
New storylines.
and there's some directors that are trying to create their own worlds out of this, like Taika Waititi. He's done all the Thors, and he's been involved in Marvel. He also was a director for Mandalorian. He's part of the Magnificent Seven.
oh, jeez.
So he got that kind of kick in. But then there's directors like Zack Snyder that created this whole world and created a story, and then Disney was like, no, that doesn't fit our vibe. And what's going to probably happen is a Justice League again, where it's like, give us the Snyder cut. But he created a movie that's Rebel Moon, and it's its own world now. It's not even connected to Star Wars. It's just Zack Snyder's futuristic space world.
That's going to be sick.
Yeah. And
It's not Star Trek or Star Wars. It's something.
Rebel Moon. Yeah.
The new Mandalorian's on tonight, too.
Ooh, it
That's
is.
going to be good.
Yes.
I'm trying
The
to
last
remember
few
what
have
happened
been
in
crazy.
What happened in the last episode? I'm trying to refresh myself.
The last one, they saved the youngling
That's right.
from
That's right.
the pterodactyls.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
If you haven't
alert.
watched.
Yeah. If you
Well,
haven't
this will be
watched
out in a
yet.
couple weeks, so it's okay.
How come George Lucas, I wonder if he had any other world and stories other than Star Wars? Like, I know he had other movies that came out, but they were like,
Yeah, he was not. He should stick to the sci-fi. There's
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
that are just like,
Wait, what else did he do
there was
besides
one about like a wilderness of short people. I thought of something along that
Children
line.
of the Corn?
Like, yeah, dude, we should watch some just for the cringe factor. Some clips of it. I've
oh,
seen
and
it.
it's before he had
bad.
budget. It's before he
Yeah.
had people behind him.
But he still had Star
Not
Wars
good.
out. I thought like Star Wars didn't take off at first either. It wasn't famous for like a whole year, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were a
Yeah.
couple years where they were
Well,
fighting for it. But
even then,
Yeah.
like it wasn't that popular when it came out.
Because no
Like,
one
it
knew
was-
what sci-fi was really at the
Yeah.
time. They
I mean,
thought
if that '70s show is true, like they make fun of Eric like all the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a cool
it was
thing
for
to
nerds. Yeah,
Yeah, it
they
was
thought
the
the
nerdy
Force
thing.
was like. I mean, even Luke Skywalker. What's his real name? I can't. It's
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. Didn't even really know what he was auditioning for too much. Like he's like, "What is this? A magic
Am
or
I
it's
a
a fairy
space
tale?"
cowboy? Like,
Yeah, they thought it was like a magic movie and stuff. It was just interesting. Yeah.
And then after the first one, everyone was like, oh, okay, this is... I think the second one, at least the
Really
nerds
solidified it.
really solidified it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my dad was telling me in the 70s when he went to go see the second one, the line was around the building.
Oh,
Like long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he saw that in Colorado in...
the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I heard that Han Solo, Mark Hamill, and I'm
Harrison Ford?
not even thinking of names today. Harrison Ford are literally like their personalities are very similar to that what they were in the past because they were
Oh,
really
yeah.
actors.
Oh, really?
They just like
They're
got
just,
the
like-
role. It was early roles for them, and they were telling a story one time between Mark Hamill and Han and stuff, and like Mark Hamill was just over analyzing the scene, like just way too much, being Luke Skywalker,
Looking off into the
and
distance.
talking with the director, and then
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford looks over him. He's like, "You're overthinking it, kid." Like he was just like, "Just do the part.
Just go for it, man.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
So interesting, dude.
So what's your top Star Wars episode? Or when I say
Oh,
episode,
yeah.
I mean
Like,
or part.
movie-
which
movie.
movie?
Which movie?
I want to say, nostalgia is a huge factor, but Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
episode 3, I think for me
Oh.
was like
That's my answer as well.
It came out, I think like a couple days before my birthday, and my dad took me for my birthday, so it was like.
I think
like-
that's when angst for me was starting to kick in as a kid
Yeah,
as well.
I
So
think
like,
I was
yeah.
in 5th grade.
yeah, I just
think.
really
so I was like,
related
yeah.
to-
So I was like, oh, dude, this like edgy kid that like is just mad
Making
at
his
the
own
world. Yeah, and it's
decisions.
just like,
Seriously.
oh, yo, he's so badass, dude. I don't know. Like I love the
He's so
original 3
emotional.
because they were or not the remake original 3, right? Like
Yeah. 1, 2,
episode
and
1,
3.
2, and 3. Yeah, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith. Because that's what I first watched.
Yep.
I didn't even really know that Star Wars was like a thing until I was like older. Like I
Like,
guess
this
like
is the
after
thing.
after like watching Clone Wars, I was like, oh, there's like previous movies, and like at first I didn't like them because I was like they look so old and
They
but,
still
like,
do.
Well, yeah, but,
But
like
now you can watch it.
I
feel
can
like, and
appreciate the
they look
storyline.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
they
can
remastered.
appreciate the
Yeah.
storyline more, and like knock aside the fact that like they didn't have
Yeah.
like the graphics that we do now because
They were
they didn't have
pioneers of
yeah.
the graphics.
But that's
Yeah.
they
I mean,
were.
the only graphics added were like the lasers.
Yeah. Well, they were
Back
blue
then.
screen. Blue screen. They were working with blue screen. Isn't that
Dude,
weird?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So blue screen they were deleting before they knew green was easier.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say Star Trek and Lucas at the same time were kind of dabbling in the blue screen delete. So
I
they
bet
figured
he
out how to do that.
grabbed
probably, like-
some from Star Trek because Star Trek is the 60s
That's so
Okay.
crazy.
with
William Shatner.
yes,
and-
William Shatner. That's 60s. Like that came out late 60s.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was my dad's Saturday morning TV show was Star Trek. So like that's where his sci-fi started, and then
But I think for me episode 3 because you also get like General Grievous that was just like
General
so
Grievous was
badass,
sick,
like
dude.
Taller than I
all the
expected.
arms.
the four lightsabers and
love
he
that.
collects them from like fallen Jedis that he takes down. Like it's just like, dude, you're
this
G.
will be a fun addition to my collection.
You gotta
You're a
look up,
G for
look up his
Grievous.
Life, General Grievous, and how he was
It's sad.
made, and like.
Well, he
yeah,
was like
it's super
sick,
sad.
right? Like he
He
got turned into like basically a cyborg because he was
he
like
was a
deathly
person.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a certain breed. It wasn't like a
he
human.
wasn't a human. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
He was
okay.
an alien of some type.
But
Yeah.
but like he became cybernetic because he had like
His
a
body was
disease that-
failing.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
trying to remember who put him together. Moff Gideon.
I think it was
yeah,
Moff Gideon.
put him together.
Who
and
is
stuff.
the general on Clone Wars show?
Yep. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
really?
Super
See, and
deep.
I like a couple like what was it, like a week ago I started just randomly started watching Clone Wars again, like the animated series.
Yeah.
So good.
Dude, there's so much information that people don't know, and it's all canon. It's
It's
all
all-
all canon. It's all what happened between
2 and 3.
Yeah, movie episode 2 and 3, and you
Yeah.
get the final season is Order 66.
Yeah. Season 7
And you
is
get-
wild.
You get all the perspectives of like the Jedi. You get
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. She's trying to save. I won't give away names, but like they're like, yeah, it's a great show.
Isn't Ahsoka the original? Or no, wait.
She's,
She's
Anakin's
Padme.
Padawan.
That's right.
or Padawan.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Padme
Padme.
is his
Yeah.
wife.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one.
I
That
like
is the
that
one.
even the new little series come out. You get to see Osaka.
You get Rebels, right?
Yeah.
No, there's a new
um,
series where they did short stories on
They go
certain
into-
Jedi. So
Yeah.
Ahsoka
They
did
go
one.
into the backstory of a lot of them.
Count Dooku's turn to the dark side. That's one of the episodes.
Qui-Gon
Oh,
Jinn.
really?
Qui-Gon
Yeah.
Jinn.
Qui-Gon
Dude,
Jinn.
Oh, okay.
You get
I
to see
haven't seen
Qui-Gon
that.
Jinn actually battle not going to the dark side.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Because
Well,
Count
yeah.
Dooku's turning, and that's
Yeah.
his.
Yeah. And that's his-
master.
Dude, that would have been crazy if Qui-Gon Jinn lived. What would Anakin... Maybe he
would have been a god, bro.
Did he bring
Yeah.
balance to the
Anakin-
Force?
I mean, it set
In a
in motion
sense.
everything.
At the end of the movie, he was the one to help... you
Well, that's
know,
why that scene or that last
In 6...
in 1, In Phantom of the Menace,
prophecy?
it's called Duel of the Fate.
Oh, yep. Now I
Yep.
get it.
Yep.
Wow,
And so
I'm
it's
so dumb.
Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are protecting
Yep.
Anakin's fate, and they failed. Qui-Gon failed.
Yep.
But I mean,
Only
did
Qui-Gon
they?
failed though, which is
Mhm.
weird. And
And then it
Obi-Wan-
led to Obi-Wan failing
yeah,
because he
so
wasn't
crazy.
ready to raise
Nope.
Anakin.
Mhm.
And Qui-Gon thought
Insane.
more like Anakin did.
I
Where
want
it's
to
like,
see some more.
okay.
Darth
Well, he was
Maul.
more like everything is gray. There's no like light,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
It's not either or. It's more.
it's not
in
the dark
between.
side of the force and the light side of the force. It's
Yeah.
like it's the force as a whole.
And we can control it if you know how.
Qui-Gon Jinn is
Yeah.
yin yang.
He is.
It also kind of like
Yep.
He is. That's yeah. Which
Very
is sad.
interesting.
Anakin fell in the first one,
Yep.
and he didn't even know it.
I mean, you could see it in the second one, like
Oh
through-
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I mean,
He's already starting to
and
create a
we-
relationship.
We've talked
with
about this
someone.
how the first or the episode 1 through 3 get like a lot of hate because of like all the angsty
That's the best
emotions,
part.
but it's like you're in the descent of Anakin. Like he is that is his whole that's the whole thing of like 1, 2, and 3 is like he falls from being this innocent child to being Darth Vader.
Well, and he's an entity of the Force because like his mom can't recollect who his dad is. Where
Yes.
did that come from?
Do you think like it's like someone significant, or do you think it was like
She
God's-
says in the
God's
first one,
baby.
remember? Qui-Gon, he's like, "Do you know who the father is?" And she's like, "No."
Maybe
he never
she was
had
just
one.
A little
Well, that
Pussy.
could be part of it.
Is he
too.
like a little
Hussy.
baby Jesus?
little baby Jesus.
Little baby Jesus, Nick?
She could be. She could be. He's space Jesus.
So funny.
Jesus.
Yeah, space Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
He fell though.
That's so good. I would say my favorite would I just love 3. Obviously 2. I feel like it just
Most
glues
quotable.
everything together. It's most quotable, but
So I think consensus.
very. If I want to take a nap, I can throw in episode 1. And I feel like I can nap to episode 1 because it's like silly.
It's playing on my
good,
eyelids.
It's playing on my eyelids. Like, you know what's crazy? Oh, that's what I was gonna say. C-3PO and R2-D2, the only robots that make it through like
All nine.
every.
Yeah, all 9, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all the way to the end.
They're all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Highest paid
That's
actors.
awesome.
C-3PO and
Highest paid
R2-D2.
Apparently, there's a guy in R2-D2.
Yes. For
No,
the old ones,
really
it was.
is. It really
Yeah.
is for the old
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. Now it's
No,
just
I
a
remember, yeah.
computer and
What was I
whatnot. But
watching? Somebody did like a.
There's like a
meme, but,
documentary though, like about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
They talk
Yeah.
about how like there was like a person inside of.
Oh, yeah.
There was a guy inside C-3PO too.
yeah, he
Yeah.
looks like. If you took his whole mask off, he looks like C-3PO.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
just
I don't
kind
know
of
who
like.
the actor is.
He's got
Yeah.
little rim glasses, kind of a small mouth, and he's just like kind of this dainty little guy.
Dude,
and I
yeah.
feel like he's just in character for life now.
Dude, the Boba Fett, the OG Boba Fett guy, he was a producer or somebody on set. He was like a PA or something.
and they
really?
needed a fill-in.
And they
yeah.
needed
No
a fill-in.
way.
They put it. They liked the way he walks around so robotic already. They were like, he'd be perfect. So they put the suit on him, and they were like,
Dude,
got
that's
it.
like
You got
the
the part.
sickest like
This
job
is the guy.
promotion.
Yeah,
Hey,
seriously.
dude, instead of getting us coffee today, you are on the movie. You're in the movie.
So there's
So then
a
Clone Wars 2, or when we have 2 come out, that's when we get the new Boba per
Jango.
se,
Yeah.
Django, you know, all of that.
yeah. And what's crazy is Django is based off Boba, not the other
And
way.
Boba is a clone of Django.
Yeah, which is like, wait a minute. Because Boba got so popular in the 70s
Yep.
that they continued to add Mandalorian
They had
characters
to add
to
the
it
story.
to
back
get
in
it.
there.
And so they
But Boba wasn't Mandalorian or Django. They weren't.
they were.
They were?
Well, they had
No,
to
I thought they
it
didn't
was
have
like-
any descent. I
if they
thought
come
that
with the mask and that.
Django came from. Django didn't. I thought he got his still somewhere else because he was just a bounty hunter. He wasn't.
Maybe he got it from the Empire when they had
Yeah.
already taken Mandalore, but
No, Jango Fett is Boba Fett's dad.
yeah.
So episode 2, those alien people find
The
this guy
Caminos?
with the Caminos find a guy with good DNA to build this army. So I don't know. We got to look more.
We'll have
into
to look
but
that
I'm pretty
up, but-
positive he was not ever Mandalorian. all
That
the
would
way.
make sense. I mean, the
Yeah.
Empire took over Mandalore and then continued to mine them and destroy it. I mean, we're
There
learning
was
about
no
it
Empire
in
back then too. It was just the Rebel or the what? It wasn't called
The
Empire.
Galactic
The
Republic.
Galactic
Republic, yeah.
Yep, the
Yeah.
Galactic Republic. Exactly.
and he had everyone under
And
him.
then Obi-Wan, or not Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon knew that this army was being built for some
Master
reason.
Sifo-Dyas.
Yeah, for some reason, like there's some weird things going on in this backgrounds of how come he knew that that was being built, but no one else on the
No
Jedi
one else
Council.
knew.
Like,
well, that's why no one really liked Qui-Gon, because he was like, I'm
little
not going to follow your rules.
Slightly
Yeah.
rogue.
yeah,
He was Rogue One.
I mean,
really
yeah,
puts more
he was
perspective
Rogue
on
One.
it. That's crazy.
Rogue Point 5.
He was the blueprint for Rogue.
That's hilarious. Okay, what is the worst?
Swing.
Worst one?
I think for me 4.
4?
It's
love 4.
like it's just like it's so slow and it like.
I'd say
it's
the
like
new
for me-
ones.
Yeah.
Okay, but like yeah, I don't like the new ones that much.
8 easily the worst Star Wars
Did you guys
content
see the
ever
one
made.
where they got
See,
the,
and like I don't remember 7, 8, or 9 that much enough to like.
Dude,
So I would say I think those 3 are probably the worst.
Ryan Johnson, that's his name. Rian Johnson. He's done a lot of great stuff. Botched Star Wars.
Yeah.
Botched it.
I like the one where they had to go get the Death Star plans and they beamed them up. What is that one? It's a mid movie from
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yeah, that's Rogue
Yeah,
One.
that
Oh,
one I
the
thought
side
was-
stories?
No, I
That's great.
I've loved
Yeah.
those. I love Solo. Rogue One was dope.
Solo was awesome.
But I don't. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan
if,
of
if
the
we're talking
movie
original 6, I think 4 for me.
yeah. Original 6.
Original 6. What's the worst?
You
Yeah,
can't
I would
pick.
probably have to say 4.
And yeah, I mean, like it's not bad. It's just like out of the 6, I think it's the slowest. I think it like it hasn't done its story building yet.
Yeah, that's where we're getting to.
So yeah, so like it's. I mean, it's good. It's just like it's the least good.
I
Yeah.
want to see some more
The least.
of the Sky City and Lando.
Lando
I think that'd be
Calrissian.
sick. With
Lando.
Childish Gambino, he was in there. Like,
Yeah,
it
he
would
was
be
in
sick
Solo.
to
Oh,
have
yeah.
a whole Childish
He was young.
Gambino.
Dude.
Like, that would be very tight.
I think wasn't that one of the episodes?
Yeah, he was
When
in. Yeah.
The off ones, right? Where they like
Childish
told the story.
Gambino was
yeah.
in as
Oh, that was
like-
in Solo. But
Yeah,
remember-
yeah.
what
Yeah, he's
about
Solo
the
in-
cartoons? Isn't Lando in one of those too?
I believe so.
I thought
Actually,
they
yeah,
did
the
one
new
about
ones,
that. Yeah, those
it would
new-
be cool
I haven't
to
watched
see
the
like
new ones.
a whole real life movie with Childish
With
Gambino
just Childish?
as Lando. Like,
Dude.
that would be really sick. I
His
think.
like rise into
his
the
rise into the
politics and all that.
Exactly. Yes, that's a movie.
There you go.
And how the Sky City got
TM.
built and stuff like that
I
would
mean,
be
we could-
sick to see. Like,
Dude,
We're allowed to write canon stuff into.
yeah,
it's a Star Wars.
Seriously, we just needed a bunch of graphic editors.
yeah, we need 50 people real quick.
As the computers get better, I
We
bet
have
Blender
AI.
and AI.
Yeah, we got
Dude,
AI.
we
now.
don't need 50
I
people.
just
we
was
have
telling
AI.
him this today. Nick was working on a graphic. I was like, just wait. One day you'll be able to tell it exactly what you want it to do to your design. So you have a 2D design. Say, I want it to do this. And I bet it's going to come out soon.
Well, GPT-4 comes out in a week, so
It's going to
We
be
gotta
insane.
get on that.
we
Yeah.
need to start learning that ASAP.
Let's move on from Star Wars.
Lord of the
Lord
Rings
of
or
the
Harry
Rings.
Potter?
Lord of the Rings.
I think we can do Lord of the Rings.
I know Lord of the Rings a lot more.
I just watched Lord of the Rings this year.
I have seen the extended
hooked?
versions.
And
at
that's what I
least
watched,
10
though.
times
Oh
through.
my god!
I watched the
Have you
extended.
ever tried to watch them all in one day? It's the worst.
16 hours.
It's hard.
You gotta like stretch every.
I've done it
couple-
once.
I did it one time in youth group. Never again.
I did it in a week. Like I think I did it like 3 days back to back. But and I was telling you about it when
Yeah.
I was doing it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, when
it's
we- yeah.
so long. It's
Our
like how
friend
far you get.
podcast, our Jack and Z,
Yeah.
our friend podcast. That's funny. We're a podcast group. Our other podcast, group
sister
friends,
podcast.
our sister
Yeah, our
podcast.
sisters.
No. They would put on The Shire to fall asleep. They just they're
Absolutely, dude.
huge fans. But and then my buddy Jack's his bathroom too had the whole the map,
Shire?
the Shire. Yeah, it had
Or,
it had the
Middle
map-
Earth.
Middle Earth map
Yeah.
on.
Oh, that's
it was
sick.
awesome, dude. But I love that series.
The
They're really
best
good.
thing about those series and the reason they still hold up to today is it's all practical.
Yeah.
It was shot like Star Wars was in the 70s. So like they built the giant sets
Yep.
and they superimposed people. And then like Peter Jackson, the director, he used perspective to get the size comparison of people. So like in the intro with the Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo is sitting on Gandalf's chair, Frodo is actually like 10 feet away on that side shot.
How'd they do that? Did they just crop around him and then put him in?
No, it's all perspective in camera. So like the wagon is actually super
How would
wide.
They have enough depth of field? Like it was just
Oh,
open.
it's just super wide,
Yeah.
so he doesn't have to run as far.
Yeah. So he just sits down and it's on a really wide angle. Or like when you go to the wide angles when they're walking.
Is it wide angles, wide open camera kind of thing?
And then probably
Lots of wide
superimpose
angles.
the blurry if it's needed to. But
All in post.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
And
pretty wild.
So like the walking scenes when you see
They're
Gandalf
like 5
walking,
feet apart.
Gandalf's like 10, 15 feet closer to the camera. And so are Aragorn, so are Legolas, Boromir, all those guys in that first
Except
movie.
for all the
Hobbits are 10, 15 feet back,
Dang.
and so they don't have to like do green
That's-
screen.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one came out in 1999. Can you imagine green
Yeah,
screen?
yeah.
Well, they did
Yeah.
have doubles too of actual short, like kids.
Yeah, for,
kids
like,
were
the
playing.
scenes-
for like the
Yeah.
when like
when they're
backs
on
or whatever,
horse
yeah.
or whatever, it's just kids. Like there's a scene in Return of the
when
King.
they're on horse.
Yeah. When they're
You
on
can't really-
horses, in.
yeah.
But there's a scene in Return of the King when they're going to. I gotta sneeze.
Oh my.
Bless you.
Excuse me. There's a scene in Return of the King when they're at Black Gates, and Aragorn is going up to the gates, and you can clearly see a little kid that's like supposed to be
I
Pippin.
remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
and he's like just staring at the camera, and it's like, what are you doing, man? Like,
Dude,
Don't look at the camera.
all of those movies were just like every time they came out, I was so hyped. I remember. I think was it high school about for us like.
oh no, one was 99. No, I want to say 99 or 2000, and then 2
Yeah, so same as Phantom
was
Menace.
2002, and then 3 was 2003 because they filmed 2 and 3 at the same time.
That's right. That's right. I remember that.
I have actually watched the 26 hours of the behind the scenes
Real
insane.
like all
stuff.
of it.
Yeah,
Damn.
I am an encyclopedia for Lord
That's
of the Rings.
crazy, dude.
It's just perfect. It's literally a perfect story that Peter Jackson put together, and I think The Hobbit is the biggest pile of crap.
I was gonna
compared-
say I tried watching The Hobbit.
you guys read the
and I
books?
just stopped.
I did, yeah.
What did you think of the
I
books
didn't read
compared to
books.
the movies?
I think it's weird that I don't know. I don't like how he broke up The Hobbit. I mean, it's a lot of
Like
information.
even the books,
Oh,
like, you don't
yeah.
like how it's broken up.
No, the book is great.
The book.
The
is
books
good,
are great.
but the show didn't show
like the
as much
movie.
as
I remember we
yeah.
talked about this. How like you said after the first one, like it was kind of like,
It just lost my interest. Too much CGI. It's like I
It
get
was
it's
all CGI. Like
the orcs just don't.
we
mean
talked
anything.
about this too. The
Yeah.
orcs didn't look that good. Like
Well, they
didn't-
look plastic.
Yeah,
orcs
like
look
it was like
scarier as
smooth
real
skin.
humans.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like they had a face routine before they went to bed. You know,
Funny thing
Sauron's
is,
hooking them up.
What isn't orcs? They used to be humans.
Elves.
Like, oh, they used to be elves.
They used to be elves. Yeah. So
That's why they're badass fighters.
Yeah. Well, it depends on which one they are.
Well,
so
there's multiple kinds. So there's orcs.
there's 3 kinds.
Yeah.
There's
there's 3 types
Goblins?
of elves as well. Then
I thought there's ones they dug out of the ground too. Remember?
that's the Orakai.
Orakai.
those were like
So-
the mix between like goblins and orcs, right? Or
No,
something
that's the middle set.
okay.
So there's the goblins, which are kind of their own race already. They live underground, do their own thing. They're already bad. They don't need like reproduction help from Sauron.
Yeah.
Then there's the second set, which are typically made from men or mixed in with elf that are like our size. Like
Yeah.
they're normal like orcs.
Mm-hmm.
They're just orcs. And then there's the last one that's the Orakai, which has the white handprint on their
Yeah,
helmets.
Yeah.
Those are elves. And they are
Oh.
from Sauron. They are completely created from evil and
Like
darkness.
just
they're the
corrupted
badass
elves,
fighters.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have tighter armor. They are cast enhanced by Sauron, so like they can run faster for long distances.
Well, I remember that was like one of the biggest things. Like they could run for like days without like stopping or whatever.
So
they
like
can
when
go
Helm's
anywhere.
Yeah.
when Helm's Deep happened and Gandalf showed up, he's like, "Hey, we got 2 days till they're gonna be here,"
Yeah.
Yo.
and so it begins.
Gosh, I'm gonna have to watch those movies again. It's been a
Yeah, I
minute.
kind of want to rewatch.
Yeah, I
them
want to
again.
rewatch it.
I've,
They're
I've
so
only
good,
done the
dude.
one run through. They were the extended cuts, so like
Yeah.
it was like I got everything. But I'm like curious, like what are they going to cut out? Because it cuts out a lot, doesn't it? Like the
So
regular
much.
to like where?
The first one has an additional like 40 to 50 minutes extra. The second one they cut out like an hour 10, and then the third one is like over an hour 40.
And
of
I've heard
extra.
like you actually like it like leaves you like confused, where you're just like, where's the rest of like this scene?
I don't remember what they're like anymore
don't
because I have the collector's edition. I don't watch them on streaming services. I'm the kid that's gonna go switch the DVD because that's like
Yeah.
nostalgia for me.
Yeah, no,
like that's how I watch.
I
Lord
still
of the
watch
Rings.
DVDs, dude. Like,
Oh yeah, dude, I have a DVD collection in my house.
Only the important ones.
It's
Only-
crazy. We'll have to go through them. It's hilarious.
Might have to get a stack back here.
Get a
Just-
stack. Dude, we just put a shelf up and put
Yeah.
DVDs, VHS, and like have tapes and eight
Yeah.
track,
Just
like
get a bunch
just
of-
like a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
That would be sick.
that's honestly one of my favorite. A fun thing to do is like go into a used store and get because I still have a tape player in my car. I go and just pick a random tape, and then pop it in. Like, and then
Some
you can
podcast
only
from, like,
listen
the
to
90s.
it the way it comes down, and it's the way the artist wants you to listen to their music from top to bottom. I've thought that that's changed, and that's kind of weird.
Well, the shuffle button really
The shuffle button.
really switched that up.
It's one thing I didn't like about Spotify.
Yeah, you got to get that.
Well, like if you don't pay for it, it shuffles the albums. I didn't like that.
Sorry,
you got to experience it.
I'm on
first.
this little rabbit trail real quick.
Yep,
but
let's go for it.
Mac Miller's coming out with another album. That's the last one. It's called Mac Lib, made with Mad Lib. It just got approved. I just found out yesterday.
What?
Just got
way.
approved by Mac Miller Estates, and so it's getting in final production. It'll probably be
Is it
the
like his
last
final songs?
There's a whole
or-
album worth of music. Yeah, apparently that's what Mac Lib is saying, and it's or Mad Lib, and it's gonna be called Mac Lib, the album.
I mean, with
And-
AI now, like
Well, I can't wait to hear it.
Oh yeah, I'm freaking stoked. I'm probably
I
gonna
cried
do.
when
I
I
want to
heard
do a listening party.
That was
I know
terrible.
exactly
I
where I
literally
was
cried,
that day. It's
yeah.
weird that I was filming a wedding, and my friend told me, and I
he was
like,
our age, right? Like he was.
I think he was like 2 or 3
20
years older than us.
Yeah, 28,
He was
26.
I think he would have been like 31, 32 this
Okay,
year.
so he's
something
just
like yeah.
barely
He was
older.
like he was
Yeah,
like
barely
just
older.
above us though.
Dang.
insane.
Yeah, that's
but
sad.
I'm glad that his family is still like they're not like just holding on to his stuff, and they're like about sharing his music and his art. So
I wonder if they'll like donate that profit or if they'll like.
oh yeah, they'll probably
Yeah.
donate towards like definitely probably towards like drug or something like abuse,
Mental-
Drug education or, like-
drug
mental health and all that
education,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
you guys have to go down that story trail if you have a second to YouTube. Like you literally, they know who the drug dealer was, where it came from, how all of that stuff. The guy ended up going to
Dang.
prison, worked in LA.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude.
Well, I
You
mean, it's a
killed-
slap on the wrist, so you're just getting caught dealing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you can physically prove that you killed the guy. I don't know.
I mean, if he has the
Well,
stuff.
it's probably
right?
like it's like one of those like where it's like vehicular manslaughter, where it's
Yeah.
like it's accidental death. It's
Yeah.
probably like some sort of like manslaughter,
sure.
something like that.
kind of. It's like you could get away with some stuff.
Anyways, though, back to Lord of the Rings.
Yes,
What's your
back.
favorite scene? Favorite scene, Lord of the Rings. I know mine.
Okay.
I can say it. If you want.
Okay, go for it. Because I have a question.
Sam, Frodo, Sam. The end of the movie. It's just a white room.
Yeah.
Frodo.
It's like Sam.
It's just all billowy inside.
It's
soft.
like, it's like Sam.
The wizard walks in. Gandalf and he's smiling.
I love the scene when Arwen
Arwen.
is
Arwen.
trying to get like Aragon to eat his or her soup.
Oh yeah.
She's like, "Here's some food," and he takes a sip and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And she's like, "My grandpa says you fought with my uncle," and he
I
goes,
remember that.
"He has great memory. I did," and she's like, "This cannot be true. You must be at least 60, 70. You cannot be 80." He's like, 87.
Oh,
She's like, "You're a Dunedain, blessed with long life." That's literally one of my favorite scenes.
That's hilarious.
I think for me the chase scene with the Balrog.
That's pretty
just-
dope.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I just love that. I
And
love I love Aragon tossing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He throws Gimli.
Just like, Gimli. I love the relationship.
Don't tell
of
the elf.
Gimli and the Legolas.
And Legolas.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're
I
always
just
like they're like
die.
rivals, dude.
Yeah.
I love that too.
I never thought I'd die fighting next to an elf. How about next to a friend?
Dude,
Orlando
Orlando Bloom
Bloom.
couldn't be more perfect
Yeah.
for that scene, for that part, dude.
Bro, his eyebrows always
Yeah,
like
it's just, like,
freaked me out.
white
Like when they
as
like
heck.
Or his eyes changing colors because he'd like forget his contacts.
oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
know
why-
that. I was
oh.
always I would pick up that on that as a kid, and I would be
I'm like, yo, what's
dude,
up with okay, that makes so much sense.
He forgot his
that's
contacts.
That's
hilarious.
so funny.
I had no idea.
He looks so weird in the Hobbit movies.
That's because they had to de-age him
Yeah,
by
that
like
was-
30 years.
that-
or
Oh yeah.
68
Was
years.
it really him?
yeah.
It's him.
It's Orlando Bloom,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
he
I
looks
thought he was
looks
CGI the whole time.
no,
in.
he looks older, de-aged.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
Weird.
he's
well, he
in his
has
40s.
the like, he's kind of got that British, and I'm not stereotyping, but you know, like they kind of get the saggier
The
cheek,
jowl.
the jowl look. He's kind of getting that now, but he's in his like 40s.
No,
or-
he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was what like early 20s when he did that movie.
I
have
don't
to
know.
be, yeah.
Pirates
Or,
of the
like-
Caribbean was his first one, right?
No,
No, Lord of the
no.
Rings.
Lord of the Rings, 99.
99,
And then
Oh,
Pirates of
wow.
the Caribbean was
he
like
had to
06.
make that probably like
yeah,
in the
it's
same.
way after.
Really?
Oh, Pirates is
Yeah,
like
no,
2006.
Yeah, no, Pirates is
Wow.
like 2006.
That's another
That's
good
another
movie.
series
That,
actually.
oh,
Yeah.
that could go maybe out of the Trinity, but it's close.
It's very
I
close.
mean, yeah, it's pretty popular. I would
It's
say.
pretty dang close. I like that one too.
I remember that being one of the first movies that really scared me. Like the
That's-
skeletons from the first
Oh,
one,
yeah.
dude.
The first, yeah.
How
'Cause
are
I
we
was-
not scared by Lord of the Rings? So growing up, like I wasn't scared whatsoever. By those orcs were scary as heck. Like
The scene when they're born in the first movie
Yes.
is
Yeah.
disgusting,
Yeah.
dude. Like the
They're
placenta
getting like
and all
peeled
that
out of
stuff.
like their like shell. Yeah.
yeah, their elvish placentas.
but we were
It's
more
nasty.
scared of the skeletons.
I think
on
it's because they're
Pirates.
more realistic in
The-
a sense, right? Like skeletons versus a made up.
It was straight CGI too.
Yeah.
Then
Oh, and it was horrible.
they did such. Really?
Have you gone back and watched
I
it?
haven't watched it. I
They
guess.
might have
Like,
remastered it on Disney.
maybe I saw a
but-
remastered.
Yeah,
one.
they probably did.
Because on the disc one I watched,
Oh yeah, I do remember them being super bad now.
they kind of remember
they
on
were
Spy
fighting,
Kids
yeah.
when they're fighting the skeletons.
Yeah.
They kind of look like
that's
that.
what they looked
yeah,
like. I remember.
kind of
now.
clunky. Yeah,
Wow, that's a deja vu and
That's
a half.
funny.
Because I did see it recently and it looked good.
it looks good. I
Yeah.
think that Disney remasters.
They probably
all
did.
their
They
Yeah,
stuff.
they
had
had
it.
to have.
Now that it's all streaming, it's like let's
Well,
just keep updating.
Like this
everything.
year, I've been going back and watching like old movies, and yeah, dude, like you go back and you're like, dude, what? I thought that was good.
Dude, do we even know what happened to Captain Jack Sparrow? Do you think that they'll, since he's clear of his name and stuff too?
Probably
we'll
not.
see. We'll see. I mean, they cut him. Disney totally.
Yeah.
cut
Oh,
him.
they
I don't.
cut him,
I don't
but-
think they will. I don't think
Yeah.
they'll bring him back. To be honest.
I wish they would.
He's
They-
the best.
Yeah. No. They made that movie without him, and then like I didn't think it was that good. And then
I think nothing is good without.
I think
he's
Pi-
Captain Jack
I
Sparrow.
think Pirates of the Caribbean as a series, I think, is just dead at this point.
Yeah. Long live Johnny Depp.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Then there's. Okay, before we end Lord of the Rings, favorite one. Not counting Hobbit because they suck. I still watch them, but they suck. I can tell you mine right now.
For me, I think either 1 or 3.
Yeah. 3.
I think for me, yeah, it might be
3 action wise
Four.
and like the
And that's, I think,
completion of the story.
I love 1 for the story of like everything's like again with Star Wars Episode 4, like the story building was too slow, but I think they did it.
This was high paced.
Great. They did it great on the Fellowship of the Ring, and then 3 for all the action, like the wars, like that was.
You got to go back and watch. Now that you've seen them again, go watch The Hobbit, and then go watch Lord of the Rings. And the intro to the Fellowship is pretty crazy, tied to the end of The Hobbit.
Well, that's the end of the Hobbit is
Which
Bilbo
is so
writing
convenient.
like it's
Yeah.
the beginning of the
But it's-
Fellowship.
Yeah,
right?
but you just catch a lot more, like with the maps and his journey.
Okay.
It's all there.
I guess I'll have to pay, but like, because I watched The Hobbit after The Lord of the Rings, so
Yeah.
it was just like, oh my god, it's the beginning of the Fellowship.
Yeah.
Yep. But now when you go back, you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much tied in there.
Okay.
Which I'm really bummed that Peter Jackson changed the name of the last one. It was supposed to be called There and Back Again, which is the name of the book that Bilbo
Oh.
writes. It's called There and Back Again. So that's in the beginning of the Fellowship. He's like, and it's done.
I'm gonna
There
have to
and
do
back
some
again.
History research.
And then everyone was pissed when the last Hobbit
Wasn't-
came out because it was going to be There and Back Again, which is like the finale of his book, right? Then he changed it to the Battle of 5 Armies. And it's like, what 5 armies? It's all the orcs versus people.
Yeah. There was 5 armies.
Elves, dwarves.
Oh yeah,
The-
humans.
That was the one like that we
Humans,
see. You hear
orcs.
of the Great War, and throughout the movies, is that the?
No,
one
that's a
or no?
different one.
Oh, it's a different one.
The
That was
Great
one where
War
the
is
guy got his
before The Hobbit.
finger cut off and stuff.
That was like 1,000 years before The Hobbit.
okay.
Because Smeagol had the ring for like 500 years.
something like that.
Yeah, long time.
How did he live that long?
The ring gives
The
him
ring,
long
yeah.
life.
Oh.
That's why Bilbo's 111.
But it like corrupts you or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
so
makes
that's why he lives so long.
sense. Makes sense. I totally get it.
Favorite one?
Isn't it like 2? We kind of learn more about Schmeagol and stuff. We kind
Yeah.
of see more of him. I
Yeah.
liked
Yeah.
number 2. I believe when we had in the trees.
Helm's Deep.
The trees are walking, and then we get left on a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
I think I liked number 2 growing up when I was a kid watching them.
Yeah, we get left on the cliffhanger with Sam and Frodo, but
Mhm.
we finish everything with everyone else because we have the battle of it's the 2 towers.
Mm-hmm.
When does the White Wizard or no, Gandalf turns into a white wizard after.
He comes back
at
as
the end. He comes into
Middle of 2.
Middle of 2. He
Yeah.
goes.
He comes back as Gandalf the White.
Then he comes back
Yeah.
as Gandalf the White. So he had to go. What is that beast called again?
The Balrog.
The
He had to
Balrog.
battle that to become
Well,
a wizard, or
I don't
'cause the
think they
last thing-
establish how like
he
they
just
get their
disappeared down
titles.
a hole with that thing, and then he just came
Technically-
back.
Like
well,
the-
at the beginning of the extended version of 2, it starts with him fighting the Balrog.
Okay.
But I don't think the Balrog caused him to become the white
Or is
white
that
wizard.
part of it?
I think that the Balrog killed him, and then he says when he's talking to Aragorn and Legolas in the woods when they think it's Saruman, but it's actually Gandalf, he says, "My time here was not done. I have more here to do."
and I think it's
So
like
he was
titles.
granted life.
I think it's more titles because like there in the Hobbit there is
But I thought a gray wizard
what's
was
his-
more
what's
powerful
his
than a
name?
white.
and that's
White's
what
the
I'm
king.
that's what I'm thinking. White is like the ultimate wizard.
Yeah.
because there's the brown. What's his name? Radagast.
Radagast,
Yeah,
yeah.
Radagast the brown. Then
Well, there's only
Gandalf the
5.
gray. Yeah, so that's what I'm assuming. They're probably titles of like tiers of like who's the strongest. It's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well,
And
there's
since
3,
Saruman like wasn't one anymore.
Oh, they kicked him out, or
They-
they wanted to get rid of him.
Well, yeah.
But he still had his wizard powers, and
He did.
He was a white wizard as well, right?
So the Rings of Power explain this in very heavy depth, and the wizards are actually a subclass or angels for the
Okay.
gods of Middle Earth,
Yeah.
which are called Morai.
Okay.
And the Morai were created by the gods of Middle Earth to protect it and or delete it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Saruman basically overstepped his bounds or was too corrupted or whatever, and so loses his title as an angel and becomes a follower of the darkness. And so I feel like that's why it left it open for him. I think,
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
and I think Rings of Power season 2 is going to go into the 3 blue wizards, which live in the east, actually
Okay.
farther than Mordor. They're
And see,
past.
I watched the
Sauron.
movies so that I could watch the Rings of Power, and I still haven't started.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
really
gonna have
good.
to do it. I'm gonna have to
But-
revisit everything.
The blue wizards are weird because they don't involve themselves in Middle Earth.
Anything?
They basically have followers and have created a cult, making themselves like higher
Gods.
beings or gods in this place. So I hope we find out
Weird.
more about them. But
So
we'll
there's
see.
like blue wizards, white, brown, and
And
gray.
gray.
What's the 5th? Red?
No, there's just 5 of them:
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh yeah.
white, gray, brown, 2 blue.
Oh, okay. 2 blue.
Yeah,
But then at some point we had 2 whites because we had Gandalf and
but he establishes the hierarchy very quickly when he gets to
Yeah.
Isengard. Yeah.
Okay.
then they
okay.
fight.
Well, he kind of gets pushed off a building and then gets caught on the silo.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
a good part.
I do remember the first time I saw that, I was like, those boots are sick. Remember he had like those like high-laced boots? Like those are dope.
Yo, where'd you get those?
Dude.
These are my chocolates.
Yeah, I remember the trees battle. Like I thought that was sick. They had to go convince the trees to come.
Oh,
protect
yeah.
and-
Tree beard?
Yeah.
What
yeah.
are they called again?
I
Imps.
forgot what was it?
Imps.
Imps.
I
I
am
think that
peace.
is. I think that is
Imps?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That was
think.
a sick
I could be
scene,
wrong.
Or the I
'Cause
also
usually
thought the
the imps
ghost
are like
scene when they
little-
went into the mine shaft. That was a
Yep.
sick scene, and they had to battle like all those
So they,
ghosts.
yeah, those ghosts were
Oh,
actually
yeah.
promised. Yeah. So
They're
I
promised
remember.
freedom, right?
from the Rings of Power, one of the main guys in there. So the Rings of Power is right before the Great War. There's a
okay.
character in there who is Sauron, and then there's a character in there who cuts Sauron's fingers off.
Mm-hmm.
That's in this show.
Well, that was like the beginning of
Time.
one. Is like that was
Beginning
like the
of
battle
time.
or whatever. Like the war, they cut off his fingers, and that's I'm guessing that's
That's
that
the Great
battle.
War. These in that show, you learn that his dad actually betrayed those people. And that's
I've seen that.
Aragorn's
Okay.
great
I
great
have-
great
this is
great
back in my
grandpa or
memory
whatever.
bank. I know it.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And so
remember
he
putting that two and
fulfills
together.
their prophecy.
And that
or
was
their
the city that was on
duty.
the edge of the cliff. That was like, or the big white beautiful.
Minas Tirith.
Yes,
Yeah.
Minas Tirith. Yes, I remember now.
Yep. So that's how they're all tied in
His
there.
dad
But
was stupid corrupt.
Okay.
well, the ring too.
Oh.
yeah.
Well, that's like
'Cause
that's
he
what
was
like
the one
made
who got
everyone
the ring.
corrupt was
My
like the
gosh.
rings, right?
Yeah.
Makes
the ring
sense.
is mine.
No.
The old white guy, or with the white
Destroy
hair.
it.
Yeah,
No.
that guy was creepy.
The ring is mine.
Well,
Okay. Enough Lord of the Rings. Let's fly through some Harry Potter because none of us are that big into it. Well, are you?
I'm not really.
I mean, like I know a lot
wasn't
about
allowed
it, but
to
I
watch
wasn't
it.
like. Yeah, I think it's cool, but I don't think it's like
I just saw it for the first time in 2022.
all of them.
All of them.
What'd you
Never
think?
seen a second of it. I do not like them until number 5.
See, and I think for me, 4 is like where like I
Goblet
like
of
4
Fire?
the most because that's like the first time someone dies, and it really sets like the tone of
tone.
like,
It's
oh,
also
this
the
is
worst
like
death ever.
How did he
Freaking
die?
Cedric, dude?
Well, like he just
Explodes?
Voldemort just kills him.
Oh,
Like cold blood.
Oh, actually, it's
for
not
no reason.
Voldemort. It's what's his name?
See, this is where we're gonna get lost.
Peter Pettigrew.
Oh, the mouse.
Yeah, the mouse dude.
Yeah, the rat.
Yeah.
he just
So he-
exploded
yeah,
him.
because there was so Harry's dad, James, has like 3 friends.
I didn't even know Harry had a dad.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I
dude.
thought he lived
James
with
Potter.
He's
Well,
the
yeah, but
boy
like
who lived.
he's an orphan that gets shipped off with his aunt and uncle that treat him like absolute crap. But his parents
So
were like,
how is he an orphan if he has a dad?
Voldemort.
well,
killed
they're
them.
dead.
Okay.
So, but like when his dad was young, he has 3 friends. It's
Okay.
Sirius,
Sirius
Sirius
Black.
Remus, and Peter. And like the 4 of them they can transform into animals or whatever because Remus is a werewolf. So they all learn how
This
to
is a curse,
transform.
though.
Yeah, it's a curse. So he learns how to,
okay.
he
How to use
transforms
it.
or whatever, but like you lose your mind. So they all can,
Yeah.
they turn into animagus I think, to basically like control him when he's like changed. They're like, okay, we're going to like muscle you down.
Yeah.
So Peter betrays everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he goes like and follows Voldemort, and then
Literally everyone.
like everyone.
Harry's dad. Okay.
No.
Like,
No, Peter
like,
Pettigrew.
Peter.
Oh, okay.
Harry's dad's friend.
Harry's dad's friend.
So like it's like the 4 of them are like super close, but then Peter betrays every single person, tells Voldemort all the information, and then Voldemort goes and kills Harry's parents.
Oh, jeez.
Like he originally he's gonna go kill Harry because he's a part of this prophecy of someone that's gonna kill Voldemort.
Yeah.
And Voldemort's like, nah,
Is
I'm gonna
Voldemort
kill you.
was Voldemort supposed to be like the good wizard?
no.
Like or
No, from like he's established that he's a
He is bad.
He's
The
not a
entire
good wizard.
But
time.
like, does the school know about him
Oh yeah.
and
Well,
stuff?
so they dive into this in the 5th movie. Like you get his story.
Tom
where
Riddle.
Yeah.
Tom Riddle is his real name. Dumbledore finds him at an orphanage, and he's also an orphan.
Okay.
In the books, you get a lot more of his backstory. Which I like the books a lot more because you
Yeah.
get the actual backstory of why he was so like bad.
Yeah.
He has a horrible childhood, abusive grandpa. His mom gets abused by the grandpa, and like it's just a bad situation. Dumbledore finds him and brings him to Hogwarts and
Yeah.
tries to raise him or whatever because he's like a magical being. But then like throughout him growing up, because of his bad childhood, he just grows to be a bad person.
Yeah.
And then
And
so
then-
is he around the school at all though? Does he show up to the school or like
Not
the
when he's
kids, or-
Voldemort.
Okay.
so in the first one, he is inside the school technically.
Yeah,
he's
that's
like,
what I
he's
was
like
trying to
So
figure out.
he's like
A
he's like
teacher,
a
right?
parasite on Professor Quirrell, and
Yeah, it's
he's
like
like
a head wrap
it's
on.
like on the back
Yeah.
of his head.
Yeah.
So he's trying to like
well,
get
if he
the Sorcerer's
touches
Stone.
the Sorcerer's Stone,
he can like be
it's a
immortal.
free revive essentially.
Yeah, it's like you get immortality and you get revived
Did he? Or no?
No.
at 4.
Okay.
Movie 4. That's
Yeah,
when he like,
that's
gets
when he-
revived.
yeah.
And then they set up this entire wizarding tournament to lure Harry to this cemetery where they perform a ritual with his blood to resurrect Voldemort. And then Cedric comes
And these
with
are bad
Harry.
people, like, or who's the people trying to bring Voldemort back?
Bad.
Just Voldemort.
Bad people.
It's followers of Voldemort.
Yeah, I mean Voldemort himself, and then like a couple of his followers, and it's basically just Peter Pettigrew because the rest of them don't do anything to like really bring him back, except
Yeah.
for like Quirrell in the
Quirrell
first one.
does, What's her face doesn't.
What is their benefits of bringing Voldemort back? They don't like.
I mean,
Harry?
just they,
Power.
they just want power.
Oh, okay.
And like
Yeah.
the biggest thing is that they want purity in magical blood.
Uh-huh.
So like mudbloods are humans and magical beings.
Oh.
So there's like this whole racial thing with
Well, it's
that.
like Hermione's.
Interesting.
Both of Hermione's parents are humans, no magic, but she was born with magic. So it's like this.
So it's like-
Interesting.
yeah.
I'm assuming it's kind of like a hereditary thing where like
Yeah.
it could be dormant and
It's
Yeah.
like the Force.
you know,
kinda?
yeah, whatever.
So
yeah.
the Metachlorian count.
Metachlorian count.
And Harry Potter had the highest Metachlorian count. So
But yeah, so that's like
I'm gonna have to
4
watch
is
it.
where like the first person really dies. like gets murdered at least.
Yeah.
They don't die.
Well, that's
for,
when they
like-
switch from whimsy to what's actually happening.
Yeah, and that's So I think that's where like
Yeah.
it turns darker, and that's where I started liking it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whimsy for me, like I didn't grow up watching Harry Potter, and so the first 4, I'm like, okay, this feels just like a Christmas movie. Which, by the way, that line gets me every time. Happy Christmas, Harry. It's like Happy Christmas, Ron.
Yeah,
It's like that.
English, dude, mad
Yeah.
English.
Besides that, the first 4 or first 3, 4 is good, but once they get dark, then it's like I feel like the real world tie
And
to
that's
it.
they have to grow
watch
up
it.
quick.
Yeah, it's like also this is an actual issue that we've been ignoring for the last 4 movies, and now it's like, okay,
Now he's
Voldemort's
actually back. Yeah,
he's alive.
Voldemort is back. The Dark Lord has returned.
He has returned. But they don't worry about it until then, and then it's like, oh,
And then-
he's gonna come and attack Hogwarts, and then it's game over.
And then even like during the 5th movie, like the wizarding government still doesn't believe Harry. They're like, oh, you're just making this up to overthrow the wizarding community.
Which
They
they're
don't
all
believe
idiots,
what?
by the
Yeah,
way.
Believe
they're
that
all-
Voldemort tried to kill him or something?
Yeah, so
Alive.
like
Oh.
the only one that witnesses Voldemort
Oh.
coming back is Harry
Harry.
and Cedric.
How did they
Cedric,
see it?
Well, like they get lured to the
The game.
to the game, and then there's like to win the final match or like game or whatever.
Only one can win.
You have to go touch like the cup, like the wizarding cup, and that's
Yeah.
how you win. But there's like another follower of Voldemort that turns it into a port key. So like whoever touches it transports
teleport.
somewhere, right? So they both touch it at the same time because they're like
They're racing to
they're
touch.
racing for it. But
Yeah.
then Harry saves Cedric, and then Cedric's like, "Oh, Harry, you win. You saved my life." And Harry's like, "Together."
Yeah.
So they touch it
He
together.
says
They
a lot in the
yeah.
series, by the way.
Yeah.
together. Actually, yeah. Now that you mention that,
Let's finish this where it began.
yeah, together. Yeah, that's the final
Yeah.
movie too.
So they both touch it, and then
They both touch it. They
Do
get
they both get
transported
transported?
to the cemetery where Voldemort is like hiding, and then
That was the plan all along.
yeah,
though.
that was the plan
Yeah.
to just have Harry come by himself. But Cedric comes, he gets killed.
Cedric gets killed, his friend.
Which, by the
then-
way, is
then and
Robert
there.
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
what
young boy.
his friend.
Yeah.
at
So
that
he,
time,
right then
okay.
and there, he gets killed right off the bat. Harry sees Voldemort. He fights him, and then he runs to the key, takes Cedric's body back, and everyone like sees him come in and.
At the event.
Yeah,
still?
at the event, like where, like
we
at the
can-
school, they're, like they
Yeah.
get transported back to the school.
Yeah.
Cedric is just dead in the ground, and Harry's like crying, and he's like, "He's back!"
And
he's
everyone's
back.
cheering for him like he just
Yeah.
won. Well, he did win.
He
yeah.
wins, and
It's bad.
But he wasn't supposed to transport. He was just
no,
supposed
it was just supposed to.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
just supposed to win. So then, like that entire time, he's like telling everyone, "Oh, he's back." Dumbledore
no one believed
believes
him.
him.
Yeah.
Like all the teachers believe him and stuff. But then, like the government is like, "No, that's not true. Like
Yeah.
no one saw that.
I remember what
It's
it's called.
impossible."
the Ministry of Magic.
Ministry of Magic. Yeah,
That's what it's called.
No one
so
must have
then the
been
entire
there.
5th movie is
Yeah.
the Ministry interfering with the school and them wanting to teach.
Don't forget Dobby too.
Yeah, and
Dobby interferes heavily.
Yeah.
Dobby's the
Everyone's
homie.
favorite character.
Yeah.
Dobby's the homie.
Dobby has friends.
Yeah, he's a cute
That's
little guy.
hilarious.
Dobby's the best, but
Everyone needs a baby Yoda for their series.
That's true. That's actually he's the baby Yoda.
Yep.
Well, he's the Yoda of the series.
speaking of Baby Yodas and Mando and Pedro Pascal, he just signed a new movie, and people were like, "Well, why did you sign with this movie?" And he goes, "Well, I heard I'll be protecting a child, so hell yeah, I'm in."
Yeah.
And so like that's why
That's
he's
Is that
like,
like Pedro's thing?
Dude, he's
Yeah.
breaking the internet right now. Like
Oh.
his little meme of him eating toast.
Yeah, just crunching
It's on like
toast.
every single video. Like it's so funny.
I don't think a day goes by that I don't see Pedro on like one of my timelines.
I think it's interesting. He's in
He's
the
in the man.
biggest series on Disney. He's in the
Yep.
biggest series
On
is-
HBO.
On
HBO
HBO
now,
now.
yeah.
He's
It's
been in
like,
2 of the biggest. He was on Game
Yeah.
of Thrones too.
and now he's been in that.
Oh, he
like,
was. Yeah, he was.
dude,
the Scorpion.
Yeah, he was the brother.
Yeah.
It's like it was planned to make him famous.
Oberyn,
Like,
right?
Everyone's
Oberyn, yeah.
He's a likable guy. It's weird. Like
He is a like
I,
People
I
just
loved
like,
him in Game
oh,
of
he's
Thrones.
awesome.
Like, that
Oh,
character
yeah.
was like awesome. He was just like, I don't care.
he killed Mandalorian too, dude. Like,
Oh,
and when he takes his helmet off,
perfect.
like everyone was like,
It's Pedro.
yeah. I was screaming when we finally got to see his face.
He's film daddy.
He's film daddy.
He is.
Film Dad. That's the title of this
Pedro,
episode.
Pedro
Film
daddy.
dad.
Film Dad and the
Papa
big
Pedro.
trifecta. In the,
The
holy
big tri-
in the
the
holy
Holy Trinity.
the holy trinity.
Film dad and the Holy Trinity.
That's a good one. I think we're sitting. I think we were because we were about 7 minutes in on the first
Yep.
one before
Yeah,
we
so I think
we're
restarted,
good.
So
Yeah, that about
we're
wraps it
chilling,
up.
So
Well, thank you guys for coming back to with us on Weirdly Artistic. We'll see you guys next time.
Next week. Bye.
We're the artistic.
Damn, that's weird.